You ran your hand through your hair this morning and felt less than you did last month. That's not in your head. That's not just getting older. Something is happening inside your scalp right now. Silent, invisible, and progressive. That is slowly suffocating your roots before they ever get a chance to produce healthy hair. And here's the part nobody tells you. Most of those expensive serums sitting on your bathroom shelf right now, they never even reach the place where the real problem is. Today we're talking about a combination of natural ingredients that researchers have been studying for their potential to act right at the root. Not on the hair shaft, not on the surface, but inside the follicle environment where growth actually begins. Everything shared here is based on published studies. No miracle claims, no made-up numbers. Just what the science actually says. And what it doesn't, because that part matters too. If you're not subscribed yet, hit the bell. The next video is going to cover a silent deficiency that could be destroying your follicles from the inside. One that most standard blood tests completely miss. You don't want to skip that one. But first, before we get to the blend, there's one thing you need to understand. Because without it, every natural ingredient out there is just another guess from the internet. Picture this. You have a plant at home. Every day you water it. But the water isn't reaching the roots. It's running off the sides of the pot, only wetting the surface. The plant gets weaker, thinner, more lifeless. Not because it's dead, but because it's starving. That's what may be happening to your hair right now. Every single strand has a living root, and that root needs a steady supply of blood, carrying oxygen, nutrients, the right signals to keep producing. When that flow gets compromised, the root doesn't die right away. It goes into survival mode. It starts producing smaller, thinner, weaker hairs. Eventually, it stops producing at all. Most people assume those follicles are gone for good. Research suggests that in the early stages, many of them are simply dormant, sleeping, not dead. And there's a specific villain driving this process. It's called DHT. DHT is a hormone your own body produces naturally, converted from testosterone by an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase. The problem is that DHT has an extremely high affinity for the receptors inside your hair follicles, especially in the areas that thin first. When it accumulates in excess, it interferes with follicle signaling, shortens growth cycles, and accelerates exactly the miniaturization process we just described. This is established science. It's why the most widely used medications for hair loss work by blocking that exact process. What most people don't know is that certain natural compounds have also shown, in published studies, the ability to act on that same pathway, with a much more favorable side effect profile. That's where today's blend comes in. Before we get to the ingredients, there's one detail that changes everything. And that explains why most hair oils on the market simply don't work. Think of it this way. If you want something to work, it has to get where the problem is. There's no point applying something to your scalp if it just sits on the surface. Your roots are deep, protected by a natural barrier of sebum and dead skin cells. Heavy oils with large molecules don't cross that barrier efficiently. They sit on top, they create that satisfying feeling of a moisturized hair, but they never reach where it matters. In some cases, they actually make things worse by clogging the follicle openings. Lighter compounds with a molecular structure similar to your scalp's own natural oil behave completely differently. They pass through, they go deeper, and when they carry an active compound along with them, that compound goes with them. That's the difference between an ingredient with real potential and an expensive product that does nothing below the surface. The first ingredient in this blend is jojoba oil. Technically, jojoba isn't an oil at all. It's a liquid wax, and that distinction matters more than most people realize. Its molecular structure is remarkably similar to the skin's own natural sebum, which means the scalp absorbs it without resistance, without clogging, without buildup. It doesn't stimulate hair growth on its own. It doesn't block DHT directly, but it does something that very few natural ingredients can do. It gets in, and it takes whatever comes with it. That's why it's the base of this blend. It's the delivery vehicle. The second ingredient is fresh onion juice. Yes, onion. Before you close this video because of the smell, which is real and it is strong, give it 2 minutes, because what the published research says is worth hearing. In 2002, researchers Khalifa Sharqui and Hala Al-Obaidi from the University of Baghdad published a clinical study in the Journal of Dermatology. one of the most respected peer-reviewed publications in dermatology, indexed on PubMed under PMID 12.1.12.6069. They divided patients with patchy hair loss into two groups. One group applied raw onion juice to their scalp twice a day. The other used plain tap water. After 8 weeks, the onion juice group showed significantly superior results in hair regrowth. Now, here's the part most videos don't tell you, and it matters. The sample size was small. The type of hair loss studied was a specific autoimmune condition, not the gradual thinning most people experience, and the study has not been replicated at large scale since then. So no, this is not a universal cure, not even close. But the biological mechanism behind it makes real sense. Onion is one of the richest natural sources of quercetin, a compound researchers have been investigating for its ability to interfere with DHT production at the follicle level. The sulfur compounds in onion also carry documented anti-inflammatory properties that may benefit the environment around the root. When jojoba, which penetrates, carries those onion compounds along with it, the combination becomes more interesting than either ingredient used alone. The smell is the price you pay. Whether it's worth it is your call. There's a third element that almost nobody talks about, and it might be exactly what's blocking results for a lot of people. Chronic low-grade inflammation in the scalp. Silent. No visible redness, no obvious irritation. Just constant pressure around the roots that makes it harder for nutrients to reach the follicle and harder for growth to happen normally. Japanese researchers spent years studying the effects of procyanidins, compounds found in grape seeds, on hair follicle cells. The studies by Takahashi and colleagues, published between 1998 and 2001 in journals including Acta Dermatovenerologica and Phytotherapy Research, showed that these compounds stimulate the proliferation of follicle cells and may help convert resting follicles back into the active growth phase. The results were promising, but in concentrated standardized extract forms, not in the cosmetic grapeseed oil sold at beauty stores. What that means practically, if you want to include this component, what makes sense is grapeseed extract in capsule or powder form, available at supplement stores, dissolved in a small amount into the blend. Not the hair oil, the extract. That's a technical detail most videos on this topic completely ignore. And it's the kind of thing that determines whether you get results or not. Here's how to actually use this blend. Grate 1 medium onion and squeeze the juice through a clean cloth or fine strainer until you have about 2 tablespoons of liquid. Mix it with 1 teaspoon of pure jojoba oil. If you want to include the grapeseed extract powder, add a small amount and stir well before applying. Apply directly to your scalp, focusing on the areas that are thinning. Use your fingertips to massage in circular motions for 3 full minutes. The massage isn't optional. It has a documented mechanical function, stimulating local circulation and helping distribute the active compounds where they need to go. Leave it on for at least 30 minutes. When you wash it out, apply your shampoo to dry hair before adding water. This removes the oily residue far more effectively than shampooing wet hair. One important warning. Between day 5 and day 10, some people notice a temporary increase in shedding. Don't panic. This is not a sign that things are getting worse. It's the follicle cycle responding to the stimulation, clearing out the weakest hairs to make room for what's coming. The people who quit at this point never find out what would have happened if they'd stayed consistent. Results with natural protocols like this tend to appear between 4 and 8 weeks of consistent use, and they vary from person to person, depending on the underlying cause of thinning, the current state of the follicles, and something we're about to talk about right now. There's a silent sabotage that most people never discover. You can do everything right on the outside. Use the right blend, massage consistently, stay patient, and still see nothing. Why? Because the real problem might be on the inside. Deficiencies in iron, zinc, vitamin D, and vitamin B12 create an internal environment that simply cannot support hair growth. No matter what you apply topically, hair follicles are fast-dividing structures. When the body is running low on key nutrients, follicles are among the first places to feel it. B12 is the most deceptive one, especially after 50. As we age, the body gradually loses some of its ability to absorb B12 from food, even with a solid diet. And the standard blood test doesn't always catch the deficiency at the cellular level. A lot of people get a normal result and keep walking around with starving follicles. Before committing to any external protocol, it's worth asking your doctor to check these levels. One simple test could reveal a root cause that no topical blend in the world could fix on its own. Hair health is not a product. It's a system. Circulation, follicle environment, internal nutrition, time, and consistency. When those elements are aligned, the results show up. When one of them is missing, the effort in all the others might not be enough. There's no miracle solution here, but there is honest information. And that's what this channel is here to deliver. If this made sense to you, drop a comment and tell me which part surprised you the most. The onion juice study, the jojoba as a delivery vehicle, the internal deficiency piece. Those comments help shape what comes next. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. New content drops regularly, always research-based, always straight to the point. Everything shared in this video is for educational purposes only and does not replace professional medical advice. Before starting any new protocol, especially if you're on medication or managing a health condition, talk to your doctor. Your body is unique, and it deserves individualized care. See you in the next one.